My heart pounded in my ears. Each unanswered ring was like another nail hammered into the coffin of our happiness. Maryann, my Maryann, wasn't answering.
And then he saw it. A message flashed on the screen, a message not meant for him. The words hit him like a physical blow, stealing the air from his lungs. It was a message from David, their mutual friend, a message that spoke of shared secrets and stolen kisses. Betrayal, stark and cold, stared back at him.
The world I had known, the world I had built with Maryann, crumbled around me. We had been high school sweethearts, our love a story whispered enviously amongst our friends. Years had passed, our love deepening with each passing season. We had weathered storms together, our bond unbreakable, or so I had believed.
Now, staring at the phone, Kurt felt a chill run through him. His Maryann, the woman who held his heart in her hands, had betrayed him.
The world swam before my eyes as the truth sank in. I felt betrayed, lost, adrift in a sea of pain I never knew existed. I wanted to scream, to rage, to disappear, but above all, I wanted to understand. I needed to hear her side, to comprehend how the woman I loved, the woman who promised me forever, could have done this.
The phone slipped from his grasp, landing with a dull thud on the carpet. The sound, insignificant in itself, echoed the shattering of his heart. Maryann stood at the doorway, her eyes red-rimmed, her face a mask of guilt and despair. Seeing her like this, so different from the vibrant woman who had left that morning, tore at Kurt's soul. His voice was raw with pain. The silence hung heavy between them, punctuated by Maryann's choked sobs. When she finally spoke, her voice was barely audible. S1, explain yourself.
I'm so sorry, Kurt. I never meant to hurt you.
Her words, though laced with remorse, did little to soothe the burning anger that raged within him.
How could you? We promised each other forever, Maryann, we promised.
The pain in his voice, the raw agony in his eyes was more than Maryann could bear. She had betrayed him, broken the sacred bond they shared. She had no excuses, no justifications.
I know, I was weak, selfish. I don't deserve your forgiveness.
Each word was a painful admission of guilt, a plea for understanding. Her honesty, her willingness to face the consequences of her actions, did little to quell the storm raging within Kurt. The hours that followed were a blur of raw emotions. Accusations were hurled, tears were shed, and the foundation of their love trembled under the weight of betrayal. Kurt listened, his heart breaking with every word Maryann uttered. He heard her regret, her shame, and her deep, unwavering love for him.
I messed up, Kurt. I made a terrible mistake. But please, believe me when I say that I love you, only you.
Her honesty, her raw vulnerability, chipped away at the wall of anger Kurt had built around himself. He saw the depth of her remorse, the genuine agony in her eyes, and he knew that she too was hurting.
I don't know what to say, Maryann. This changes everything.
I know, but please, Kurt, let me try to fix this. Let me show you how sorry I am.
Her plea, filled with a desperate hope, resonated within Kurt. He saw in her eyes the woman he loved, the woman who had been his constant for so long. He saw her remorse, her willingness to fight for their love, and a flicker of hope ignited within him.
It's going to be hard, Maryann. Narrator. A glimmer in the darkness, choosing to mend a broken bond. The decision to forgive, Kurt knew, would not be easy. The pain of betrayal ran deep, a wound that would take time and effort to heal. But as he looked at Maryann, her face etched with remorse, he realized that love, true love, meant fighting for each other, even when it seemed impossible.
He said, his voice still laced with the remnants of pain.
Rebuilding trust takes time.
She breathed, reaching for his hand. S2, I know.
But I'm willing to do the work, Kurt. I'll spend every single day proving my love for you.
Her words, spoken with such sincerity, sparked a glimmer of hope within him. He knew that the road ahead would be long and arduous, but for the first time since discovering the betrayal, he allowed himself to believe that maybe, just maybe, they could find their way back to each other. The weight of their conversation hung heavy in the air, but it was a different kind of weight now. The crushing blow of betrayal had been replaced by the weight of hope, a fragile hope that whispered of second chances and the enduring power of love. The promise of a new dawn, forgiveness as the cornerstone of second chances. As the sun rose, casting long shadows across the room, Kurt and Maryann sat in silence, their hands intertwined. The night had been long, filled with tears, anger and painful truths, but it had also been a night of reconciliation, of tentative steps towards forgiveness and healing. Kurt knew that forgiving Maryann wouldn't erase the past. The pain of betrayal would linger, a scar on their love story. But he also knew that forgiveness wasn't about forgetting. It was about choosing to move forward, to rebuild trust, and to embrace the possibility of a future together. The road ahead would be challenging, but as he looked at Maryann, he saw a glimmer of the woman he fell in love with. The woman who had captivated his heart all those years ago. He saw her strength, her remorse, and her unwavering love for him. With a deep breath, Kurt squeezed Maryann's hand. He didn't have all the answers, and the journey ahead wouldn't be easy. But in that moment, bathed in the warm glow of the rising sun, they chose forgiveness. They chose love. They chose a second chance, a new beginning, and the possibility of writing a new chapter in their love story. A chapter defined by forgiveness, resilience, and the enduring power of second chances.